I'm going to start by showing you what this can look like for the student and some of the things that you can do with a form. And some of the stuff that's in the form I'll show you is a bit more advanced. So if you're interested, you can probably Google and find out how to do some of the stuff I've done. It's not super complicated, but mostly I'm going to show you the basics of forms today. This is just to give you an idea of where you can go. So this is a pupil. It's actually a fake pupil account that we've got going here, and this fake pupil account has been added to a few teams. This is the one I've just set this pupil an assignment. So when the pupil gets an assignment, they get an alert here, and then they click on their teams and they can see where that is. It may also pop up here actually in assignments for them. No, they still have to click into where it is. So it's best that they'll go to activity and they'll see that they've been set an assignment here. And this is a year 12 assignment that I've written. Now this assignment is actually, well, it's a link to a form. So that's what they've been given. And it's about binomial hypothesis testing. So all of the students' work is going to be done from this form. So before you start this lesson, you have to make sure you've gone over some stuff to check you're ready to proceed, complete the quiz here. So this is just the first page of the assignment. They click in here, they actually open up another window, which is actually another quiz. So I kind of embedded two quizzes in one here. And the first page just asks them to check that they have what they need. And then they click next. Okay, and then there's a question about binomial probability, which they've recently studied. So let's suppose they look at this and they don't know how to work it out, don't know how to work this out. And then I've made a little video which kind of explains how to do that question, and they can literally just play and they reflect on it, they understand how to answer it, and they type something in there. And it's the same kind of all the way through. So they should get to the end. If they each time they get a question wrong, it takes them to like help here as to like how to do this. So it took a bit of time obviously to record this, but it just means they're getting instant feedback and instant correction on what they might have done wrong. Now here, that instant correction, if they just click like I don't know, I'll just be guessing, or the incorrect answer, which is this one, either of these take you to just a quick explanation. So this took very little time at all for me to write up. But if they'd actually selected the correct answer, it just takes them right on to the next question. So let's click through and I'll get to the end. Let's see, get to the end of this. I actually can't remember what the correct answer is off the top of my head. But each time they say they don't know, they get a bit of help. And if here they say extremely not confident. Now, either way here, it kind of just prompts them, thank you for completing the quiz. Once you've sorted any difficulties, you can return to the main lesson. So they return to the main lesson. Okay, so let's say they know how to do this. And I've just done some questioning here. So I'm kind of using the form here as a way of doing questioning. And actually the answers that they give here, they get the same next page regardless. So what's the probability of getting a 1 on a normal dice? 1 in 6, and then a bit of explanation. So it's just an opportunity to make them think before I give them the answer to the question, and then I kind of build on that. So that's how this form works, and that's how I've used it to introduce some other learning. But you don't need to do things quite as complicated as I have done here to make good use of forms. So what I'm going to do is show you how to set a much more simple form, and also what that looks like from the student's perspective. Okay, so now this is me logged on in my teacher account, and I'm on the assignments page for this test team JRB. So I'm going to show you how to just create a quick quiz. Okay. Oh, sorry. I actually want a new form here. So I want a new form, and I'm just going to double check that I am setting this as a quiz. I'm going to show you how I created one like this. So I'm going to click on new quiz. Okay. So let's do this lockdown puppies one. So lockdown puppies. And I'm going to have a nice picture here. Now I can upload a picture. I'm just going to put some nice puppies in to get started with. Okay, so I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to have one page with some questions on it, and I'm going to show you how to get the questions to mark themselves. So the first question is going to be, let's say, what is the name for a baby dog? Actually, we've called the title puppy. So, what type of animal? A puppy. Okay, so I'll give some options here. Is it a cat? Is it a donkey? Oh, it gave me some suggestions there as well. Is it a rabbit? Is it a dog? Okay. And all I need to do is say what the right answer is. If I want it to mark it, you know, there might be some questions where actually there's no correct answer, so you don't have to tick it. But here I want it to automatically mark. Now, the nice thing is you can also get it to give specific feedback based on their answer. So you might say, no, a baby cat is called a kitten. So you can give them some specific feedback on each answer. You just click on there and gives them a message for respondents who select this answer. It's actually a really nice pedagogical exercise. This, like, think about the misconceptions and what might lie behind them, and so on. If you want to assign a point to it because you want them to get a score at the end, you just do that there. The other thing that I always do with my quizzes is make it required, even though it doesn't necessarily mean they don't just click through randomly. It means they can't submit it until they've at least clicked something. Students sometimes occasionally have the habit of just clicking that they've completed a quiz and then it disappears from their assignments, so we don't want that. Okay, now I'm going to have another multiple choice one. I'm going to say actually I'll show you how to do this first. So let's suppose you just want this to appear on one page and you want it to go to another page to ask the next question, because it's really easy to do. You just put add new section. It's a nice way of breaking down the information that they have in front of them. And also, if you think back to the one that I did with the where certain responses took you to certain pages, you have to use sections to do that. So if you want to have a play around and try and do that, you've got to use sections. Okay, so who has one? Who has a puppy? Which of the following maths teachers recently acquired lockdown? Okay, so let's give some options. And we'll give some answers now. You might not know this, but there's actually two possible answers here. So there are multiple answers, and I'm going to mark them as right here. You can also give feedback on the correct answer if you want, but I'm just going to give feedback on the wrong one, on the wrong one. So already has a dog. Okay, so there's some responses there for those who select certain answers, and I can still make it have some points. So, you know, maybe it's going to be 2 points. I don't think it won't assign one though if they only get one there. We'll just give them 2 points if they get it right, I think. Okay, now what other things can you do? We can have text on there. Now the next one's going to give, the question's going to be given away. I'll give away the answer to this one if I don't split it up onto another page. So I'm going to add another section, and I'm going to say, well, what do you think this puppy? I'm going to add a picture of this puppy. I'm going to upload this one because I think I've got it saved here on my desktop. Okay, so we're going to have some questions about this particular puppy. So let's just ask, we'll keep it nice and simple this time. So I've been doing choices so far. Let's do a text one. So what do you think this puppy is called? And it's quite a difficult question, I know, but you may know that this puppy is called Jake. So I can tell it that the correct answer is Jake. So once you've created the question, you click add answer, you type correct answer. Now you can type another correct answer if you think there's something else they might say that you'd accept. So I don't know, you might say Dave and accept that as well, that's fine. And give it some points. Obviously, you know, if someone spells something wrong, that's fine. You know, sorry, if someone spells something, they won't get the mark, but you might want to accept it, but you can't unless you think of it and add it up as an answer. So, you know, it's drawbacks, it's automatically marking it for you, so it's not going to be perfect. If you want to set longer questions here, you can do. So that's what's called a short answer. So it's not a long. If I click that, it goes to long answer. But notice that when I change it to long answer, I can't anymore tell it what's right, because obviously it's a long answer. But short answers, you can tell it what the answer is. And this one could be write a story. I think it accepts nearly like an A4 page. It accepts 1,000 characters, or no, that doesn't sound right. I think it's 1,000 characters. Write a story about this puppy, and you can make that a long answer, make it required. You might want to make that more points, and you know, you can still use it. Now of course you're going to have to come back and mark that, and I'll show you what that looks like afterwards. That's basically, you know, we've got a form there which we can set. Now there's a few important things about the settings here, so you should click here and check the settings. I definitely think you'll, in most cases, want to show results automatically. You can show them. They'll see at the end of the quiz when they submit it what they got right and wrong. You want to keep this option checked, because otherwise it's not going to record their name. Sometimes you don't want one response per person. You might want to let them try it again, so you might deselect that. And it's nice to customize the thank you message, if only to say, don't forget to check your answers now, because otherwise it's tempting, I think, for them just to skip it. Okay, so what we'll do then is we'll set this. I think we've basically done that, and we can set this by going back to assignments. Looks like it might want to restart here, and just clicking assign. Now it seems to have kind of disappeared, but that's fine. I can go through it. I don't have to create the quiz. The quiz is now saved in my essentially like in my OneDrive in the cloud. So I'm going to find my little team here I'm assigning it to, and I think you can actually use any of those, but I'm going to go to quiz lockdown puppies. That's one I've just created. Next, and then you know how to assign things, because you've been doing that this whole time. So in a second it's going to hopefully allow me to assign that. There we go. Now I'm logged in here on the app as the student, so we're going to see this hopefully pop up. Okay, so it's popped up, and this is what the student sees. They get their test, the assignment. Here it is. We go through it. So I think it's a cat. It's not giving me any answers yet. Maybe I think it was those two. What do you think it's puppy? I don't know. Looks like it should be called John. Lovely puppy. Okay, and I submit that. I'm gonna get this view results, and I click view results, and I can just see what I got. Well, in this case, it's wrong. So you can see why this automatic marking has happened right away. So I get a little bit of feedback there, but of course I don't get feedback on this. That's why it just says blank out of 5. Now to give the student feedback, so I'll go back into the assignment, and in fact it probably will show up straight away that it's been done, or it should in theory. Okay. See this student's answers, so I can just scroll down. Okay, now this one needs review, so everything else is already marked. I can write extra stuff if I want on the form, write some extra feedback here. I'm not going to bother, I'm just going to put feedback here. So this story is far too short, it doesn't count. And I'm just going to give that 1 out of 5. Now I've discovered that this is actually really important. Before I click post scores, which is crucial as well, I'm going to write in this box. So you can by all means give feedback in the questions, but if you give feedback here, that's going to be the primary thing that the student sees. So click back through the assignment or the form, whatever, through the form to see the feedback. If you don't do that, I know lots of students will not see all that good feedback that you've given them. So push scores, post. Then we'll see what this looks like from the pupils end. So here's the pupils teams thing. And here we go, it's come up as a notification activity. Assignment returned. And look, you know, this is what the student sees. So this is why I'm saying the feedback box at the top is quite important, because that's the only thing that shows up on this page. They have to click onto this to actually see the feedback that you've given them. I hope that's helpful to just kind of see the pupil end experience as well for the forms. And I think you know, if your subject lends itself to multiple choice questions, this could probably really save you quite a lot of time, and the students really like having that immediate feedback on their work. I also just think even with the longer questions that you have to type a response for, it's quite a nice concise way of giving that feedback. Now, like I say, there are more things you can do with forms. If you want to play around with the branching logic, I might do a little bit of a video on that, but by all means, just click through it and do Google it if you want to investigate it, or just send me an email, because it is really, I think it's quite powerful for students to find out immediately that an answer was incorrect and see an explanation, as opposed to waiting until they finish the quiz to see that it's finished. One other really important thing that I didn't say earlier is that it doesn't save their progress, which I know some of you will be aware of. But if they get halfway through a quiz and then they have to, you know, go and cook dinner or something, they're not going to see they're not going to be able to resume it if they close the window. So it's important that if your task is longer, that you warn them of that. And I guess if you're trying to get them to input lots of text, I might recommend that they do it first on Word and then copy and paste into there or something like that, just so that they don't get really disheartened with losing half their work after after a lot of effort.